Hi guys, welcome to Geekslovedogs Tabletop Gaming, and I'm going to attempt my first ever how to play video. In this case for Dice Conquest from Whiz. This version seems to be based on Dungeons and Dragons, but I have heard there's a Pathfinder version coming out, and that could be fun. So let's get started with a little housekeeping first. It comes with a standard set of polyhedral dice that you'd get with the Dungeons and Dragons game, starter set, etc. that they've been using since the 70s, sort of. But it also has two D10s. Now, the first one is red as you'd see it. 1 is 1, 7 is 7, but 0 is 10. Now, I know most experienced players know all this, but if you're new to role-playing games and such, you might not understand how some of these work. And here comes the percentile dice. It's still a D10, but it's a percentile. So basically, this double 0 is 10. And the 10 is 1. So basically all you're doing is from all of it is just taking the zeros off and counting the first digit. Except for the double zeros, which are 10. So you're removing a digit or you're moving a decimal point, whatever makes it easier for you to remember. So if you just remember the 10 is 1 and the zeros are 10, the rest is cake. All right, to set up the game, you have these trap cards. These are, you can play with them if you wish, but you don't have to. They're optional. And you can put in a couple of them to make the game harder. We're not going to use them today, but they're there as you get more and more experience to increase the difficulty of the game. Then you have the monster deck. This is Coulter Storm. He's the big bad, and he goes last in the deck. So, shuffle the rest of the monsters. I already did a quick shuffle before, but just give it another one. And that deck goes on top there. Now you have your characters you choose from. You have the sorceress, the warrior, the cleric, the knight, the ranger, the rogue, the thief, the wizard, and these are your player boards, which I already have two out. So, and each one has their own special critical hit roll that you can use for special ability. So we're going to take out the warrior and the sorceress, put the rest back in the box for now. Now, clarification, this game plays between 1 and 4 players. As a solo player, you can play with one character and just play through that way, or you can play multi-handed. I thought I'd show you multi-handed so that you get the best of playing solo and how to play with other people. So you're going to set these down with your health boards. Now there's this number on here. There's writing on here. Not sure if you can see it. Let's show it to you. It tells you where to set it up depending on how many players you're playing with. 4 players. And there's your dead. And since we're playing with 2 characters, we're going to set it up as 2-player. As you can see, that's under the 10. So you set your marker up the 10s. Now, I want to say in advance, if I bump these and put them in the wrong place or screw up a scoring because something moved or I forgot something, I apologize in advance. You'll get the gist. I do make mistakes, or I will make mistakes, as will most people. Now you have the first player marker, and you give that to whoever is going to be the first player. And you're basically set to go. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. The Amazon man, delivery person, came to the door, rang the doorbell. The dogs flipped out, sent my world topsy-turvy, and I had to put a pause where I was. So I had to move things around a little bit, readjust, to get them back on the table properly. But we should be good to go now. Again, I apologize, but as you understand, life happens, and when you have dogs or kids, unpredictable is the word of the day. In any case, also while the camera was off, I did do a little bit of research and found out that there is indeed a Pathfinder version of this game coming out, scheduled to come out on March 30th, 2025. So if you wanted to collect more versions, or if you didn't want the Dungeons and Dragons version and wanted the Pathfinder version instead, that is supposed to be listed as available March 30th, 2025. All right, so again, I'm going to apologize in advance if I make any mistakes, dice rolls, get turned over, I misplace or misturn something or forget a rule. My first ever how to play video, and you're here for it. Aren't you lucky? All right, so the first thing you're going to do, make sure you have your first player token with your first player. We're going to start with the sorceress and turn over 3 cards. You got a bugbear, skeleton, and now some will have text on them and rules that apply to them when they come out or when they're on the table. In this case, he can only be defeated by exactly a roll of 8. You cannot put more on. You cannot go over 8. And the cave giant, which you take 1 damage when placing a die on this creature, and also will give you a potion of strength if you for whoever defeats him. I do want to say when it comes to die rolls that are supposed to be exact or odd or evens, those can be changed by magic items and critical hit abilities, and it does not affect the rule. As long as when you place them on the card originally, they follow the rule. So we're going to roll the dice. All right, so let's see what we got here. Sorceress will go first. Any 8s would activate her ability. There are no 8s. 5s would activate his ability. So there's 2 of those. And so we're going to save those for him. We're going to use a 19, since it's such a high, and put it on the cave giant, which will cause her to take 1 damage. Then the round will turn to the warrior, who can, like I said, take a 5. You can change this die to any number and heal yourself 1 damage. Well, he doesn't have any damage, but we can make that a 10. If I can find it, there it is. So now we're at 29, and he takes 1 damage for placing the die. That only needs 5 more. So we will have the sorceress on her turn take the 5, place it on there, take the 1 damage, put those in the spent pile. She will claim the potion of strength, which allows you to place the card on a creature to deal 5 damage. And we will put it under her card on the tableau, and we'll go back to the warrior. Now, let's see. This needs 8. So let's take the D12 and re-roll it. That's a 4. So that won't do much good, but if we can put it a 4 on there, move to a sorceress. If we take this 4, place it on there. That makes 8. Put those in the spent pile, and discard this card. Now we have, going back to the warrior, let's see, we have D10, we will re-roll it. It's a 1, not optimum. Put it on there. And back to the sorceress, who will use a D6 and place it on there. Now you come to the end of the first round. Now, you have the ability to keep the dice on any cards that are left, or draw them back and re-roll them. The 6, you can't get better than 6 on a 6, so we'll keep that there, but we'll take back the D10, put these in our re-roll pile. We'll move first player token to warrior, and then we have to deal with the damage that are caused by us. She was the first player at the time, so we take 1 damage to her, move that around the table to the next player, and 1 damage to him, and that is dealt with. And then you pull, with the warrior being the new first player, 3 new cards. We have a warg rider with no special abilities. We have a troll, which you can only place dice numbered 1 through 9 on them. Nothing with 10 plus may be placed on them, and a magic item. And the third, goblin shaman. So it's a pain, because it gives you a magic item, but you cannot use critical hits until this creature is slain, so targeting him would be a priority so that you can use your critical hit ability. Then you re-roll the dice and start from the new with the warrior. Now there's no 5s on there to give you a special ability, so let's take the 11 and put it on the goblin shaman. You want to get rid of that. Move to the sorceress, who can take the D4 die, place it on there on the goblin shaman, which is more than enough to kill him. slay him, and she gets to keep the Wand of Blasting, which you can place on a creature to deal 3 damage. These cards I found are nice for when a character makes you take damage when you place dice on them, because you can use those cards without taking the damage that you get for putting a die on the character. And we go back to the warrior. This has a 9. We can only place a 9 on that. It's a 9 out of 10, so it's a good deal there. And be the sorcerer's turn. Now, if it was 4 players, you just go around the table, not back and forth. If you're playing with 1 player, you just take each turn as it comes. So, sorceress's turn again. We have the 9, but let's re-roll. This is the d20, see if we can do better. Well, we got a 10. We can't really place that on the troll, so we'll place that here. Giving us 16, we only need 4 more. The warrior's turn is up. Let's take the d8 and re-roll it. That's a 1. That's not good. Can be placed on him though. Gives you 10. And she wants to get rid of this character, so we'll just place this on here. Kill him. Spent the dice. Get rid of the card. And we're at the end of the round, so we have no more die. Now we'll leave the 9 on, because 9 out of 10 isn't bad. Take back the d8. And now we have to deal with the damage. He's the first player, so now we have 4 damage to deal with. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If there are 4 players or 3 players, just go around the table taking 1 damage until the damage was all finished, starting with the first player. Take back these dice and lay out 3 more. We have a gremlin that you need an exact 3 to defeat, and you cannot use magic items until this creature is slain. Well, that's not good, so it must be eliminated. With the gargoyle, when placing a die on this creature, you discard an available dice in the spend area. So you have to be careful, because every time you place a die on the gargoyle, you have to discard another die for his ability. And thirdly, you cannot re-roll until this creature is slain, the basilisk. So we have a couple issues that come up because we can't use you can't use magic items and you can't re-roll. So those would have to be eliminated pretty quick to give us the ability to use our special abilities. And I do not remember if I moved the first player token. My apologies. So we're just going to move it. Give her, I believe it's her turn. Going to roll. By the way, these all 3 also have magical items that you can claim. And you roll. All right. So this is nice because she can use the 19, place it on there, and we can get rid of him and just 1 die and be done with him. And she'll get the magic item. So we got rid of the extra die that requires, and she takes the magic item. So it'd be the warrior's turn. We still cannot re-roll, so we want to get rid of him. So let's put the 10 on the basilisk. Move to the sorceress. Now, you cannot use magic items until this creature is slain. So let's use the die, use the exact 3, get rid of him, and she will take the magic item, which she can now use, and go back to the warrior. We can't re-roll, but we can use magic items. He doesn't have any at this point. So let's take the 4 and place it on the basilisk and go back to the sorceress, who can use the 3 to eliminate him and take yet another magic item, in this case Scroll of Holding, discard to cancel 1 creature's attack this round. Alright, so that's what we'll do. She'll use this card to cancel an attack, because we have 2 left on the board, so we're going to have damage done. We're going to move the first player. Remember, I did it. And we have to take 2 damage. She was the first player, so she takes the first one, and he'll take the second one. And then we discard the magic item. And we're still going to leave that 9 there, because 9 out of 10, it works. So we need to draw 3 new cards. So until this creature is slain, discard the highest set of matching numbers rolled at the beginning of each round. That's not good. And you also need exact to kill him. 18 exact. Him, you only can use even numbers to destroy the stone golem. So the doppelganger needs 18 exact. And discards dice. Stone golem needs even numbers. And the were rat, which draws an additional card and has a magic item on it. Aren't we having fun? Draw an additional card, and it's a wyvern. Oh boy, 3 damage it causes at the end of the round. And now we re-roll the dice. So you have to get rid of the highest sets. So we have 4s. So we need to discard the 4s because that's our highest set. He's definitely a priority. So we're going to use his ability with the 5 to turn this into a 6, which may seem like a waste. But so that's a 6, and it'll go to her. By the way, that allows me to heal himself 1. Now she can use the 12 to hit the 18 exact, which is why I used it that way, and defeat him. So we get rid of him, put him in the discard pile, and that's done. Alright, so we have 8 on an 8. So let's use this on him. That gives us 17. And then we'll go back to the next player, and we're back to the warrior. To a 6 on it, which gives us more than enough to eliminate him. Get rid of the dice. Get rid of him. Take the magic item, which allows you to discard to re-roll a die, which means probably an extra time since you already can re-roll a die. And now we're going to be a little overwhelmed. Take back the dice. Move the first player token, and we have damage to take. He was the first player, so we have 2, 1, 1, 3. That's 6 damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She only has 1 life left, and we're about to be in trouble. We have to draw 3 more cards. He has to be destroyed first. I'm running out of room, so the Banshee cannot return any spent dice until this creature is slain. And the Goblin Champion, which has a magic item. Now, instead of boring you with how this is going to go, I only have 3 hit points left between them. That is an overwhelming number of cards, and there's no way I'm going to be able to roll enough to eliminate them all and not take damage on this turn. So I'm going to stop it there and assume you got the idea for the game, and hope that I didn't screw up too badly. Hopefully it gave you a clear concept of how to play, and I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to get better at this because I can't get much worse. But like I said, it's my first how to play, and I appreciate you joining me. If you're seeing this, send me some words of encouragement, please. This was way harder than it looks to do when you're trying to remember rules, trying to remember for the whole, for both sides, and film at the same time, and try not to screw up. And instead of thinking through things, you have to talk through things. So hopefully you'll be understanding and forgiving, and I appreciate you being here so much, though. So please come back. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep getting better. There won't be as many mistakes in the future. I cannot promise you, but I'm hoping. And anyway, please come back, like, subscribe, comment, send me words of encouragement, and I will see you soon.